In the halls where shadows linger, we bring the light the rays can't see. Patience and care is hand in hand, partnering in research for a bright new day. Together we're healing, together we rise, rewriting the future for health and patient lives. With every heartbeat, blending experience and science, our partnership works to bring hope and life to those that come behind. Lab coats mixed with courage stories, clinicians and consumers dream. Science and hope can dance together. In this bond we find our scheme. Underneath the microscope's gaze, within our pain we found research driven by our voices. Together we break new ground. Together we're healing, together we rise, rewriting the future for health and patient lives. With every heartbeat, blending experience and science, our partnership works to bring hope and life to those that come behind. Trials and the breakthroughs, behind every tear and smile, we're the heartbeat of this journey, creating something worthwhile. Experience and science guides our journey forward, through trials and triumphs finding worth, partnering together to make breakthroughs, changing lives through what we learn. Our voices blend a mighty force, changing paths and setting course, through the tears and through the cheers, partners in improving lives. Together we're healing, together we rise, rewriting the future for health and patient lives. With every heartbeat, blending experience and science, our partnership works to bring hope and life to those that come behind. Oh, 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 oh,
Hi everyone, welcome. We are finally here at the awards ceremony for the Australian Consumer Partnerships in Research Awards 2025. Inspired and led by the community we aim to support, CREW, the community and consumer research workforce. I'm delighted to have you join us for this, what we believe to be a really unique celebration of the partnerships between people with lived experience of health systems and health conditions, and the clinicians and scientists that work with them in Australia. My name is Janelle Bowden. I'm founder of AccessCR, a social enterprise that supports people around clinical trials and patient engagement in research. And you can learn more about us through the QR code over my shoulder if you want to access our resources, our socials, and all the activities that we do. So I will take a little bit more time to talk to you about how we came to be here today briefly, but before I do, I would like to welcome Franny Campbell, a consumer colleague and person of proud Aboriginal descent I had the good fortune to know and work with and learn from, to generously share her tradition of the Australian First Nations and acknowledgement of country. and set the foundations for the warmth and inspiration that we felt throughout these awards. So thank you, Franny.
Thanks, Janelle, and welcome everyone. It's really lovely to be here today. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians and owners of the lands we are meeting on today and show my respect to the elders past, present, as well as future leaders. I would like to also thank the traditional custodians for caring for our country for thousands of generations, and would like to acknowledge that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander sovereignty was never ceded. This continent always was and will always will be Aboriginal land. And I'd just like to say I'm very happy to be here today. I was a member of Conviction, which is a lived experience and living experience group of people who are very interested in research and clinical trials. Prior to joining Conviction, I feared clinical trials, I feared research. But since joining that and working with the wonderful Kerry and all the wonderful people at Health Consumers, it quashed my fears. And ever since then, I have been participating in many trials as well as research. And I find it very awe-inspiring to know that people with a lived experience can have a hand in changing the future of things. As I said, I'm very blessed to be here today, and you are more than welcome to put all the lands you're from into the chat. I'm personally from Bundjalung land today. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy.
Thanks, Franny. And I'm from coming to you today from Wallumattagal's lands in Sydney. And I know how much research means to you. I've really enjoyed working with you in Conviction, so it's very special to have you here to do that acknowledgement of country. And I'd like to acknowledge our sponsors for this event, particularly our Platinum event sponsor, Bellberry Limited, as well as our gold sponsors, the gold sponsor of the award, Miner Research, who sponsored the Research Participant Experience Award, as well as our bronze sponsors, Save Our Sons Duchenne Foundation and Curtin University Enable Institute. Their financial support has been absolutely amazing. We'll hear a little bit more from Bellberry in a moment. I would like to also recognise all the in-kind supporters who've helped promote this event and make it a success. These awards in terms of lots of different roles, as contributors, as judges, as voters, as entrants, as finalists, and you as attendees to these awards. As our Platinum event sponsor, I'd like to invite Bellberry, Kelly Sproston from Bellberry, to talk a little bit about why Bellberry got involved with this event. Thanks, Kylie.
Thanks, Janelle, and thank you everybody for joining the event this afternoon. And Bellberry is absolutely delighted to be a Platinum partner of this inaugural Australian Consumer Partnerships and Research Awards event. Bellberry is a not-for-profit organisation, and our prime objective is to protect the welfare of human research participants. That's our North Star. Of course, as Australia's largest provider of human research ethics committee services, the welfare of the participant is the core objective of the HREC. But it's something that we also support through other initiatives, like CTIQ, an organisation that's hosted by Bellberry and supported by many around the room. The CTIQ was winner of the 2025 ARCS Australia Patient-Centred Award for projects such as the Consumer Involvement and Engagement Toolkit, which aim to help researchers to be more inclusive of consumers and community members. As a not-for-profit organisation, Bellberry provides participant engagement grants to organisations such as the Australia and New Zealand Stroke Organisation. They use that funding to support embedding participant-centric presentations into the scientific program at their annual conference in Hobart in September. We're constantly examining ways to ensure that the voice and experience of the participant or consumer is front and centre when it comes to research design. Stay tuned for a new initiative that we're launching at the AusBiotech conference in October. You can see hopefully why it made so much sense for Bellberry to be involved in these awards. I want to give my heartfelt congratulations to Janelle Bowden, AccessCR and her team for the extraordinary achievement of starting and curating these awards, where we seek to raise the profile of researchers and trying to do better at engaging research participants, consumers and community members in the design and development of research. I also want to acknowledge more than 1,400 people voted in the People's Choice Awards. So I think in terms of raising the profile, Janelle, well done. You've absolutely done it. Finally, I'd like to congratulate all the entrants, the finalists, and of course the winners. Your dedication and perseverance in ensuring that consumers, patients and participants are actively involved as partners in Australian research is an inspiration. Your incredible work is an exemplar to us all. Thank you.
Thanks, Kylie. Bilberry support, I have to say, has been absolutely fundamental to us being able to achieve this. Their support enabled us to use the platform that everyone was familiar with using for the awards and to provide a little bit of prize money to the People's Choice Award winners. So I'm sure they'll all be very grateful for your support. So now I would like to welcome our keynote speaker for today, Yena Thompson. Yena is a proud Gamilaroi Yene woman, and excuse my pronunciation if I've got that wrong, Yena, from Moree. Yena has lived and worked in many nations across New South Wales. She's worked as a nurse and as an Aboriginal health worker for over 20 years in both her hometown of Moree and in the Hunter region. Yena is passionate about empowering our mob through shared knowledge and experiences. Yena has extensive experience in community engagement and consultation, event organising and conducting health programs with community. Yena considers it her cultural obligation to connect with the people of the land she lives on and visits, as well as her continued connection to Gamilaroi people. Yena now works at the University of Newcastle as the Aboriginal Health Research Partner at the Wallatuku Institute, dedicating her work to ensuring Aboriginal people are involved in research projects in a meaningful way that drives self-determination and sovereignty. And so I welcome and thank Yena for her keynote presentation today on the Research Our Way program.
Yama, everyone. Before I start, I'd really like to thank Janelle for inviting me to be involved and a keynote speaker. So I haven't done this before as an actual keynote speaker, different when you're doing a presentation. So look, there'll be times when I'll need to refocus. So I'm happy for people to pull me up on that. But look, it's a really great opportunity to be able to talk to a huge, obviously you have a really wide base where people are coming from right across Australia. So I think just to be able to talk a little bit about what we're doing in the Newcastle, Hunter New England region, to try and involve Aboriginal people in real meaningful research, and also coming from a place of who, what and where we need to be involved in that space. So before I start just talking randomly about everything, which is what I do, I'm just going to share a slide. So once again, and I would like to start by acknowledging country as well. And I just have a little verse here that I want to say that you know, I'm on a Wabakal country here in Newcastle, and I've lived here for 18 years. But I have connections, obviously, back home at Moree with my Gamilaroi people, and also with Barkindji mob, and all people in between. I have lots of connections, and I really value those connections over my lifespan, and they're definitely the things that I hold most dearest to me, are my connections with my communities. Country is the land, water, sky, and all the living things that occupy those spaces. It also refers to the spiritual connections that exist between all of those things. For us, country is our mother. We are country. It is inseparable from our spirit and the spirit of our ancestors. Our health has always been and always will be linked to country. We are healthy when country is healthy. We acknowledge country to pay respect to the wisdom of our elders, past and present, and we acknowledge the traditional custodians of the lands on which this Aboriginal health strategy has been created, so on the lands of the Wabakal and Warramite people. So what is this Research Our Way Aboriginal Health Research Strategy? So about 3 years ago at the University of Newcastle, Nathan Towney was employed as the Indigenous Pro-Vice Chancellor, and so it was a new role within the university. They hadn't had an Indigenous Pro-Vice Chancellor before. And one of the things that he got to do first was go to our major tertiary hospital, which is John Hunter Hospital, which I'm sure some of you people would know, here in Newcastle, to do a presentation alongside Professor Kelvin Kong, which I'm hoping that you will also know. He's the first Aboriginal ear, nose, throat surgeon in Australia. Amazing man. Both of those men were asked by the research institutes within our community to come and do a presentation. And after they did, they were cornered by the leaders of those institutions. So the institutions are Newcastle University, the University of Newcastle, the Hunter Medical Research Institute, and Hunter New England Local Health District. And, you know, they were at this Close the Gap forum, but it was really amazing time because the three people who were the heads of those research institutions also realized that they weren't making a big impact on closing the gap for Aboriginal people who, you know, come and go, like, because it's a tertiary institution, people come from all across New South Wales and mostly up north to come there. So Nathan and Kelvin said, well, okay, what does this look like? What does an Aboriginal health strategy, research strategy actually look like for our community? Obviously, they knew that it wasn't just going to be their ideas. They needed to collaborate with lots of Aboriginal people in organisations. So Awabakal AMS is our Aboriginal medical service here in Newcastle. So the CEO of that organisation was asked to come and be part of a working group. So they created a working group, which was an all Aboriginal working group with people employed within the four institutions. So it was really, we knew that it had to be a really collaborative approach by all those institutions as well as the community to research and to develop a new strategy and a new way of ensuring that Aboriginal health research is for, by, and with our local Aboriginal communities. So it was going to be a big task. And after they got together and said, okay, well, we need to, what do Aboriginal people in the Hunter region even think about research, you know? And just touching on following on from what Fran said about her experiences with research and her fears, I think it's a real thing for Aboriginal people. We hate research. Well, I don't know about hate. Hate's probably a bit harsh of a word, but we don't like it because we're not, you know, because of those reasons, we're not involved. Or what our old people, or what some people say now, is that we're over-researched and under-resourced. So, you know, we get to look at, like, lots of people are creating careers or having, you know, and doing research on Aboriginal people, but we don't get any reciprocity back from that. Like, we don't know what the outcomes are, and the data, you know, data sovereignty is another issue that Aboriginal people are talking about. Where is our data? And where is that going to be kept? And who's going to access that? We need those sorts of things are the things that Aboriginal people are now starting to be empowered to talk about across any research project that they might be involved in, which is very exciting. Just a full disclosure, I'm not a researcher, so I'm going to say words that sound like I'm a researcher. Well, I haven't been part of research. 3 years at the uni has taught me lots of different things about how research works, but I've never actually been part of, you know, leading research projects or things like that. That is changing, but so I'm very naive in what I might say. So I think this attitude of, you know, we're over-researched as people really makes us not want to be involved in research. So what we've tried to do is and that is a problem for closing the gap as well. If Aboriginal people don't be involved in solutions for and their own solutions, then the things that we need to start doing better around our health is not going to actually happen. The pathway to our research strategy was consultation. The first thing that the working group did of the institutions who were initially involved decided that they needed someone to actually do that, a desktop review about, and it was just at the start of, it was one of the COVID times as well. So so they went to a professor named Chelsea Watergo, who I'm sure a lot of people know, and through her organisation, the Institute for Collaborative Race Research, she came and did an initial proposal and paper for us called From Strength to Sovereignty, where she interviewed lots of Aboriginal people who worked in both the mainstream health sector as well as our AMS, as well as people who worked in other organisations who had been involved with health a long time. And so out of that paper, people decided that they wanted a community governance model to start looking at what research is happening in our region, because there's so much of it. And, even the people who work in these institutions don't know all the research that's actually being conducted, let alone all the research that's being conducted on Aboriginal people. So once they did that and decided that the majority of people who were consulted wanted a community governance model, they decided that they would go with a community panel. So this is where I came in. Thank you, Janelle, for that. But my experience in engaging and also having relationships with lots of people, lots of Aboriginal people from here in Newcastle, right up to Moree, where I'm come from, and all that sort of local health district people. I know a lot of people there. So it was good to be able to use that to bring people together and really find out what did we think of, not only what we thought of research, but if there was good research, what would that actually look like? And the other thing about creating this strategy was we went out first. We didn't call them consultations. We called them community information sessions. So I had a brief about what I needed to do, but I really wanted to, and because I really didn't have experience in research, I just wanted the community to guide everything that was going to be put into this strategy. It was going to come from the community. So if you get an opportunity to look at the strategy, the document, you'll see that there's things like our vision was to that Aboriginal health research is for, by, and with our local Aboriginal communities. That's what the vision was for the strategy, and that's what the people came up with, or the people who were involved. We took down all their information, then we brought it back to them and we showed them, like, is this what you said? Some people would say, yes, that's exactly it, or I did say that, but I actually mean something else now. So there was a lot of, not just, okay, we're taking your information away and we're going to create something. We created it with people. People gave us permission. They gave us little quotes. If they said something really meaningful, I'd say, can we use that in our strategy, somewhere down the line? And when the people who came to the launch of the strategy, they could actually see themselves in this strategy. They had created it, they would see their quote, or they would see their objective that they had particularly said that's what needs to happen in a strategy. So the objectives that came out of that consultation, sorry, I'm rubbing my hands because I'm a bit cold here, was to embed a community governance model to provide authority over Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander health research in the Hunter regions. And I know that sounds a bit weird, but what was happening and what we found from the consultations and from the information sessions was that Aboriginal people were constantly feeling a bit bullied sometimes about approving any research projects that were in their workplace or within the health areas. So there were lots of people being tapped on the shoulder who may not have even been part of a section of the health system that was looking to do the research. Our AMSs right across New South Wales, when we've talked to them about what we do, they say that's so great, because researchers go to the AMS to say, hey, can you give us permission to come research your people? And sometimes, we're very transient people, or sometimes this ain't our mob. So you have to really consider, well, I'm making a decision as one person for a whole group of people. So there's the strategy part of it was to stop researchers and clinicians who were doing research to just tap people, Aboriginal people, on the shoulder and expect them to support whatever the research might be. They wanted to include, so a lot of the things was about including more Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people in health research projects, and also to support them to strengthen their capacity, knowledge, and skills. We wanted to develop cultural capability expectations and pathways of learning for non-Indigenous researchers, establish accountability mechanisms and measures of success for research in our region, and to raise the profile of existing Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander research and researchers. So these are just a couple of photos of the panel. How the panel was created is we created a nomination process that people who'd been in the consultations could nominate themselves, or they might have family members. It was everybody from traditional owners and elders to Aboriginal clinicians who are working in our major hospitals, Aboriginal clinicians who are working in our AMSs, and also community members who have lived there for a long time or have big families, you know, who are able to learn about what research is happening and then decide where can my family be involved in this, or the organisations could say, could our organisations be involved in this stuff? So those are the groups of people that started to become. And look, you'll be really shocked about or surprised about how many projects have come through the panel so far. So we created this panel, and we meet once a month from February to November. We meet the last Friday of every month. And researchers, there's an EOI process. So researchers are able to, I send them an EOI. How do researchers know about us? I have a handshake relationship at the moment, which has lasted for 3 years. So I'm okay with that. I don't need anything formal if I know these things are going to happen. With the grants office at Newcastle Uni, they created a step in their process of, obtaining grants, where if you tick the box that says you will be engaging with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people and building capacity of those people during your research project, it gets flagged and those research details get sent to me. I respond to that, and one of the responses is, hi, the research grant is flagged that you'll have Aboriginal people involved in your research project. Here's an EOI. We recommend that if you want this to be a successful project, that you come to Wakuyabung, and then I give some information about who we are, how we're supported by the research, the 4 institutions, and then I tell them a date they have to give it back by. So they return those, and then the next step is they come to the meeting, they come to the panel. Because we already have an EOI, we know what their project, like the intimate details of their project are, but what we want them to present to us, and I also send another email out to them to let them know the priorities that we expect them to be having in their research project. If they don't, that's okay as well, because they might, we want people to come at concept, so that when there's a chance to ask a question, or how do we better involve this, or is this even what Aboriginal people want out of, when there's grant fundings coming out, some of the researchers are coming to us saying, there's this grant, do the community here have any ideas about what they might want researched? And we can help put an application together where you're going to work alongside Aboriginal people, whether they're researchers. We get students. We have just community people who are being part of research projects now. So they come present. There's 3 feedback mechanisms, which I know is probably, and look, I'm doing all this by myself, so I'm just saying, I'm looking for a PhD student somewhere. There's 3 mechanisms of feedback. There's direct while you're sitting in the meeting, and look, it's 15, 20 minutes. Come tell us how you're going to do Aboriginal engagement, and then you'll get advice about how yes, that's great. Yep, that sounds really good. Or, hey, okay, we've got some ideas about who might actually be able to be involved in your research project. There's the direct feedback while you're in the meeting. There's feedback that's also taken from the minutes. And there's also our members have access to a matrix for each project that comes through, and they are able to, express how they felt. And there's a number system. But this is all really organic. When we started, I had no expectations on how it was going to work. We didn't have a matrix at first. Like, these things all, as people are getting more used to talking to researchers, they're going, oh, maybe we need to make sure that the researchers know how that we're transparent. But after they come, we give them a letter. So whatever the feedback is, some people might there's three parts to the letter. There's, yes, we approve what you're doing, and it's very culturally appropriate, and you've been through this rigorous process. The second one is, we conditionally support what you're doing because we think it's going to be a great program, but there might be recommendations. So then once you get a recommendation letter, you have to come back to the panel. And then there's, sorry, we don't really want your research happening in our community at the time. But the really good thing is that, this is a mechanism for researchers to bring their research findings back to community. And then we can actually share those with our family, with our organizations. So we are, like, lots of times we'll be talking to people about, hey, this research, it might be dementia. Hey, there's this research project's happening. Would you like to, involve your family member to see what Aboriginal people think about dementia and how that works for us? So, yeah, it's very exciting. So these are some topics. I should have pressed the button earlier. These are some of the topics we've had. In the last 3 years, we've had 80 projects come through, which is really amazing. It's all Aboriginal. So it's very self-determination and sovereign driven. And the researchers are also anecdotal feedback is that it's a really great place to come and ensure that you're on the right path of doing research with Aboriginal people the right way. So, yeah. But there's the strategy, and there's also a video. So, yeah, please, I'm happy to put the link to the video in the chat. And, yeah, but thank you for having me.
No, it was fantastic, Ina. I loved it. I loved your detailed description of how you actually develop this thing. It's often people are looking for a quick fix when it comes to community engagement, and what you really demonstrated is that long process that it takes, the trust building, the time it takes, and the relationships that are really important as part of that. So thank you so much. That was a really great way to start the awards.
Excellent. Oh, and good luck to everyone, and congratulations. We just had awards here in Newcastle too. So I know what it's like to be a finalist, but not a winner, but that's okay. We're all winners. We're all winners. And, yeah, good luck to everyone.
Thanks, Yina. I really appreciate it. And if everyone wants to
Janelle.
show their love to Yina with a reaction, that'd be awesome.
These are great. Thank you.
Thanks, Yina. All right. We'll I had a few more slides, but I'm going to rip through them really fast because I know the award winners are anxiously waiting now to know who's won the awards. So a little bit, why did we do the awards? It was something our community asked for. They wanted a way to recognise consumers being involved in research. There's lots of awards for researchers, and occasionally there's a consumer award amongst those researchers awards. But this event is all about celebrating the partnerships of consumers and researchers working together to improve research. And we're really hoping that delivers on what our community asked of us. Lots of people to thank. I'm not going to go into details. You can find out more about them on our website. The early contributors were really thought leaders in pulling these together before we brought on our steering committee. We've had I've had a huge amount of operational support in the back end from people in Canada, and Sarah Gottliebson and Gillian Mason, who's on the call tonight, steering everything behind the scenes. We've had a fantastic steering committee that is primarily consumer-based. There's a few names there in grey which have consumer engagement roles in universities and whatnot, but they also bring a consumer lens to it as well. So it's very much a community listed project. So a little bit about the process. We had entries open between February and April. Then we had the judges score, and a little bit about the scoring then. They had quite a task. We didn't know how to start, so we came up with 14 elements for them to score across these different domains. They did a great job, and that gave us a leaderboard. And the next slide, that meant that we could then go to the public vote. The top 10 in category A, C, and F were sent to the public vote, and we will be announcing the winners of those People's Choice Awards in any moment now. The judges were announced on the 25th of July. If we just go back a slide quickly. And then we held the awards yesterday. A little bit about the scoring, how the finalists were decided. The score from the judges round one, how today's winners were decided. The score from round one was chunked down to a score of 10. The scoring yesterday was out of 15, and that total combined score is what's led to the leaderboard that we'll be announcing today. Next slide. A few key stats. We had 59 entries. We had 18 judges. We had 1,408 people registered to vote and over 2,200 votes cast. We've had lots of impressions, lots of likes, lots of shares on our posts, plus all the posts of those that have shared. Personally, it's required over 600 hours of my time over the last 9 months or so, and that excludes all the other volunteer hours that have happened as well. Yesterday, we had 78 people involved as finalists, moderators, speakers, back-end support. And so here we are today. And now I'd like to get into the meat and potatoes. So if we go to our next slide. Oh, the prizes, of course, you'll want to know what's happening now. So the People's Choice winners will get a trophy that looks something like this. I did pick them all up, but I haven't unboxed them all yet. So they're all printed and ready to go. We know that only one person gets to keep a trophy, and we want to make sure that this is a partnership. Some of the teams have 30 people involved in them. So we want to make sure that everybody in the team has a reminder of this. And so some special pens will be going out to all the winners as well. The People's Choice Award, there wasn't originally a prize, but where we decided to throw $100 towards that. So hopefully that can buy you a couple of bottles of champagne to celebrate as a group. The Judges' Choice winners will also receive a trophy in pens and $500. So congratulations, everyone. In the next few minutes, we will be announcing the winners. We will announce a runner-up and winner for each category. We will also then invite people from the teams to come on and accept. And nobody knows yet who the winner is, so we will do our best to get the right people on board accepting. So here we go. So the first award we're going to talk about is category E, the Outstanding Individual Consumer Impact on Health and Medical Research. We had 4 people that were nominated for this category, Alia Griffiths, Joanne, Kerry and Letitia. And I'm very pleased now to be able to announce the award winner. Congratulations, Alia Griffiths. Alia is an exceptional candidate, and we're going to show you her video now from our entry because you haven't had the opportunity to see that, so you can learn a little bit about Alia.
Hi, my name is Beck Jenkinson. I'm a Senior Research Fellow at the University of Queensland, and it's my great pleasure to introduce you to Maternity Consumer Representative Alia Griffiths and nominate her for this award for Outstanding Individual Contribution. I first met Alia when she came to a discussion group about weight stigma in maternity care. At that time, she was new to consumer work, but she still flourished as the consumer lead on our project to develop best practice principles for weight-inclusive maternity care, the RADIANT study. With Dr. Bryony Hill and Professor Helen Skateris from Monash University, we formed the Body Positive Birth Alliance and Alia became a founding member. I'll hand over to Bryony to share a little bit about Alia's contributions at Monash.
I have personally worked with Alia on many projects and she has taught me so much. She's also generously shared her skills and time across other projects at Monash University that cover women's health, pregnancy and postnatal care, and equity from project inception to co-production. Alia has been an engaged consumer expert in my co-design project to develop resources addressing weight stigma. Alia had a truly outstanding impact on this work through her measured and thoughtful contribution to the process. She really has a way to get her views across sensitively and meaningfully.
Through our weight stigma work, Alia also connected with Professor Leonie Callaway, which led to Alia being appointed to the Queensland Maternal and Perinatal Quality Council in 2022, where she has made important contributions to the Council's biannual report on maternal and perinatal deaths in Queensland. Through the Council, Alia also met Professor Ted Weaver, who was leading the development of Queensland's first publicly funded home birth model of care at the Sunshine Coast University Hospital. That connection saw Alia join the steering group for that landmark project. In 2024, Alia won a scholarship from the Burnett Institute to attend the PSANS conference, and since then she has played a key role in reinvigorating the PSANS Lived Experience Advisory Network, where she is influencing the work of perinatal researchers across the society. Somewhere in there, Alia also found time to accept the invitation to bring consumer perspectives to a couple of RANZCOG projects as well. Last but certainly not least, Alia is playing an important role on a landmark national project. I'll hand over to Miranda Cumston to share more about that.
I'm Miranda Cumston. I work at the Australian Living Evidence Collaboration on Australia's pregnancy and postnatal care guidelines. Alia co-chairs our consumer panel, and her impact on the guidelines is hard to overstate. Her thoughtful approach, her in depth of knowledge, her support for her fellow consumers, and her leadership in reflecting those views really ensures the guidelines are as strong as they are, and that women's choices and voices are at the forefront throughout.
As Alia's network has grown, so has her impact. She draws on her professional skills in domestic violence advocacy in her consumer involvement. She's persistent and collaborative, tough on problems and gentle on people. Truly, Alia is elevating consumer voices and bringing change in maternity services across Australia.
So congratulations, Alia. So next I'd like to move on to category A, the Excellence in Consumer Partnership in Non-Commercial Research. If we go to the next slide, we had 10 people up for the People's Choice contenders. I won't go through these in detail. We'll get into the announcement now. So to begin with, in announcing the People's Choice Awards, I would like to name the runner-up, who is the RADIANT study, a consumer-led project to address weight stigma and maternity care. So congratulations, very close runner-up there. As for the winner of the category A, I would like to announce that congratulations to the COACT team, a brain cancer research project, consumer partnership initiative. Now, because you haven't had the opportunity to see them as a finalist, we're also going to show their video now and then invite them to accept the award.
As a dad who has tragically lost their child to DIPG, I know firsthand the urgent need for progress. Run DIPG was born from this urgency, a community of families determined to drive change. We knew that to truly impact research, the voices of those affected had to be heard, side by side with the scientific and clinical communities.
The journey towards COACT began with Run DIPG family advocacy. This then led to a meeting with the Health Minister. Through bipartisan support, the Parliamentary Friends of Childhood Cancer Cure was established, which met in the Speaker's courtyard of Parliament House. This event brought together families, researchers, and parliamentarians to advocate for greater investment in translational research and clinical trials for childhood brain cancer.
In November of 23, and we went down and we presented our stories. It meant a lot. It meant that Riley and what he went through, and all the other children I see and all the other parents, I feel their pain, and that we were being heard at Parliament House. I have to live without my baby forever, and this is the only thing I can do to still be a parent to him.
AccessCR saw the critical importance of joining forces with the consumers around the Friends for Childhood Cancer Cure to highlight to government the critical importance of sustained funding into childhood cancer research and clinical trials.
The relentless advocacy of families and researchers had a profound impact. On the 1st of February 2024, the Honourable Mark Butler, MP, Minister for Health and Aged Care, announced a significant $20 million funding boost for childhood brain cancer research through the Medical Research Future Fund.
This landmark funding enabled the establishment of the COACT Consortium. The main focus and aims of the COACT Consortium stem from diagnosis right through to survivorship. Throughout the development of COACT, consumers were involved and actually integrated into the consortium and actually lead several of these themes.
At the end of the day, these are human lives, children's lives, and children are dying, and something needed to be done.
This journey, from a passionate advocacy roundtable to the establishment of COACT, demonstrates the incredible power of partnerships. Families, researchers, and the government working side by side. Together, this is how we will achieve the greatest breakthroughs.
And I'd like to invite Bo Kemp to perhaps say a few words.
Thank you so much, everybody. This is, I'm a bit nervous and a bit shaky. I just wanted to thank you all so very much. This means so much, so very much to be recognised as a parent, as a mum who watched her beautiful boy fight the most evil childhood cancer. It just, I don't know how to thank everybody enough. It's to have seen what he went through and to now live a life without him and to wake up every morning and to find a reason to keep fighting. And I guess personally knowing that, you know, one child approximately every 2 weeks in Australia will be diagnosed with DIPG, and that their parents will be taken into a small room and just be told to go home and make memories, to know that we're being recognised and that change is happening and that future families won't have to live the path that we lived, and hopefully they will have a longer life expectancy with their child, and the hope that one day a cure. I'm a little bit speechless, but I do have a little bit of a note here, just in preparation that this happened, just from the general manager of Run DIPG. It says, on behalf of Run DIPG community, and as a parent myself who lost Riley to DIPG, we are honoured to accept the People's Choice Award at the Australian Consumer Partnership in Research Awards in the category of Excellence in Consumer Partnership in Non-Commercial Research. We are proud to be supporting the COACT Consortium alongside the Australian New Zealand Childhood Haematology and Oncology Group, otherwise known as AccessCR. It's just a shining example of what's possible when families, researchers and clinicians work together with a shared purpose. By co-funding projects like COACT, we are helping to push the needle forward in the hope of finding a cure for the deadliest childhood brain cancer sooner. I'd like to thank the organisers of this event, thank you, and the sponsors for recognising and celebrating the importance of consumer partnership in research. And to our supporters of Run DIPG, your tireless fundraising, generous donations and unwavering commitment makes partnerships like this possible. You provide hope for future families that face this devastating diagnosis. Run DIPG would like to recognise our families for your courage, your love, and your determination to drive change. Thank you. Personally, I would also like to do a shout out to Professor Matt Dunn from the University of Newcastle. This man lost his daughter, Josie, to DIPG, and he now dedicates his life, one of our leading world researchers in DIPG, and also the founder of Run DIPG. This man is just an angel on earth. He's our rock when our children are sick. He answers our phone calls in the middle of the night, and he's there for us once our babies are gone. And as our little group of that put this COAC together and the fight, he was our glue. He kept us all together. So thank you, Matt. To my beautiful Riley, to Ruby, Josie, and Eve, we love you. And to all the other DIP children, we're fighting for you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
That's a bit of a hard act to follow, though. Oh, congratulations to the COAC team.
From Matt and Joe from Run DIPG, and Hannah and my husband Terry, and Angie and Tama, who went to Parliament House, and obviously Anne's Trog. We're just thrilled. Thank you so very much.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
All right, I will head on into the next award, if that's okay. Now we're talking about the Judges' Choice Awards. So we had 6 people present yesterday, and we are very happy to announce that the runner-up out of yesterday's presentations was the consumer-led VR wheelchair simulator project. It was such a close competition. In category A, there was literally decimal points between the entrants at the end. So all the finalists and all the entrants should be very proud of their achievements. For now, I'd like to announce the winner of category A. Congratulations to the Feelings program team. A couple of words from the judges. Fletcher's enthusiasm is infectious, and the affection felt for him was clear. It was very impressive to see the appointment of Francis to the formal role of a fabulous team. And excellent to see consumers involved in interpreting data, publishing research, and multiple consumers presenting in an awards presentation. So thank you to the Feelings program team, and I'd like to ask Francis or Anita, if you're on the line, to accept the award if you would like to.
Hi, it's Nita here. Absolutely astounded that we've won. I was sure listening to all of the presentations yesterday and watching all of the videos, it's like, wow, there is just such an incredible amount of work that's been done across Australia involving consumers in research. So I'm absolutely humbled to be able to accept the award on behalf of the Feelings program team and the work that we do in the Department of Psychological Medicine at the Sydney Children's Hospital Network. It's been a real passion of mine to ensure that we've done so much more at the hospital to include consumers, not just in a participant role, but to make sure that they really are core to everything that we do. And it's been years of working to get to this point. And it's only last year that things really started to come together for all of our planning. So thank you so much for the opportunity to showcase consumers and the importance of consumers in research. Janelle, the amount of work that you've put in to being able to put together all of this, all of the hours, I'm sure there's plenty more volunteer hours there as well. We as researchers really, really appreciate it. And congratulations to everyone for all the incredible work that they continue to do in this space.
Congratulations to the Feelings team. We are going to head off into category C now, which was around excellence in consumer partner capacity building. We had 10 people competing for the People's Choice Award, and I am very happy to announce that the runner-up for the People's Choice Award was the Global FSHD Foundation. They were also one of our finalists as presented yesterday. I can say there was 3 votes in it. So the person that came up as the winner, congratulations to the Gene Equal team.
Thank you so much. This is just incredible for our team. I know you're short of time, but I really wanted just to give a shout out to our incredible inclusive team. As I think was mentioned yesterday, as a doctor, I've learned so much and changed my approach to healthcare by working alongside as equals people with intellectual disability. Julie, Sky, Sam, they're all our absolute heroes. And I really wanted to emphasize the whole team, but especially also Professor Eva Stranidova, who's joining us from England because she had to join for this today. And thank you to everyone for such a wonderful experience and showcasing how consumer authentic co-leadership really makes a difference.
Thanks. So next, I would like to announce the Judges' Choice Awards for Category C. We had 5 finalists present yesterday. Again, a really competitive field. I can tell you that there was a point between the winner and the runner-up and less than a point between the other 4 entries. So it was really tight. But the Judges' Choice runner-up is Enhancing Cultural Empathy in Diabetes Education. So congratulations to that team. And we'll announce the winner now. And I'd like to invite Melinda Cruz to come on board to accept the award as Parent Partner NHMRC Clinical Trials Centre at the University of Sydney for your capacity building work. Congratulations. Some of the reasons for this, the judges' comments were around the extensive research networks and persistence over time and the community engagement. It's an example of what genuine and meaningful consumer-led research can become. So congratulations, Melinda.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm just so surprised. The quality of the entrance was just absolutely incredible and so awe-inspiring. So you can see I've got the shakes. So I just wanted to say thank you to you, Janelle, all your team, the sponsors, the judges, just making this all happen is absolutely incredible. Congrats to all the other finalists. Like I said, all the work is just so inspirational and I've taken so many learnings and you know, things would happen and I'd be like, oh, I want to be where they are. So that's fantastic. I don't know if he's still on the call, but I wanted to thank Professor William Tano-Morty, who is kind of like my partner in crime, I guess, at the university, for his belief and constant drive to keep parents at the forefront. This role would not happen without him. It just wouldn't exist, and the support of the whole NHMRC CTC team. But you know, the work that we do is such it's a bigger web of institutions and networks that we get to work with, and then to the families that we work with and that we have the chance, you know, work for, to improve their lives. I know what it is like to go through it personally. I know that it changes your entire, you know, change the agenda of my life, and then it also is something that never leaves you. So to be able to do this work is absolutely amazing for me, and that the ability to pay it forward and hopefully that we're making a difference to other families is wonderful. So thank you so much. This is amazing.
Congratulations, Melinda.
Thank you.
I'd now like to move on to category D, which was around the excellence in research participant experience. And just before we do that, I'd like to thank Marta Research for sponsoring this award and coming on board to do that. It's really made a difference. So I'd like to just give an opportunity for Marta to share a little bit about themselves.
Marta Research, we ask the questions so we can find the answers that save lives. Our Marta researchers are focused on improving health across all of life stages, with 5 research arms: mother and baby health, healthcare delivery and innovation, cancer, neuroscience, and chronic and integrated care. Since 1998, Marta Research has been working closely with Marta Health's hospital and health services and Marta Education, with many of our researchers also working as clinicians and educators at Marta. This positions us to be able to truly deliver our scientific discoveries from the bench to the bedside.
We didn't have finals in this round because we didn't have as many entries, but we had 2 fabulous entries from Heart of Australia and the Radiant Study. And now it is my pleasure to announce the winner of this category, who was exceptional in every way. Congratulations to Radiant Photo Voice Study. We heard a little bit from the perspective of the consumer involvement in this project in the finals yesterday, but you didn't hear about the research participant experience. So we're going to just show a quick video and then invite Beck up to accept that award.
I'm Tina, homeschooling mother of 5.
And I'm Kayla, and I've got 2 young children. And for the last year, we've been part of the Radiant study, which is aiming to address weight stigma in maternity care. Taking part in Radiant was honestly an amazing experience, and that's why we wanted to nominate the study for this award.
And I'm Alia Mustapa. I'm the consumer lead on the Radiant study, and I would really love if you both could share a little bit more about how you heard about Radiant.
Well, I saw the ad on social media, Facebook, and then you contacted me, Alia, so I knew your name from then on, and it was just a really nice introduction to the group.
The first major thing we did was a Zoom workshop. I think everyone was a little bit nervous at that first workshop, but it was immediately obvious that people with lived experience of weight stigma were leading this project. We set up this fantastic group agreement that got everyone on the same page to create a safe and welcoming environment.
Plus, the team really explained what Photo Voice was all about, and we came up with the questions that we wanted to focus on.
These workshops were a really great way for everyone to get to know each other. And then we're able to put everyone into private discussion groups on the Radiant website. What was that like?
Well, at first, I think people were a little bit nervous about sharing, but as the conversations got going and you could see group members commenting on each other's photos and being so encouraging and positive, it really helped other people put themselves out there too.
I really loved it too. The team did such a great job of making sure every post in the group was acknowledged in a supportive way.
And after a few weeks, we held another workshop.
Yeah, at that second workshop, I got to meet other people who are in the online groups, which was amazing. Even though we'd all been in different discussion groups, it was clear that we had a lot in common. So we all decided to go into one big group online for the second part of the study, which made it a lot more lively.
We came up with lots of new focus questions. We asked the team to create an anything else thread. Suddenly there was a space to talk about how being in this study had made an impact on our lives. It was really inspiring to see how people were contacting their local health services to ask for change or getting involved in other ways.
Then at our final workshop, we worked together to make sense of all the shared experiences and come up with themes across them.
The whole process, the workshops and the online space, it was so healing. It really helped me to process some of the experiences I'd had and to feel like I'm not alone.
Totally agree. Like, that was a really unexpected part of it. Like, when you participate in research, you kind of expect to be giving something, but we really got something back. And we didn't want this solidarity to end in the study when the study came to a close. So we're investigating how to stay connected via Facebook or something.
It was also really amazing to see our experiences turned into best practice principles for weight-inclusive maternity care.
And to be invited to go to a national workshop, which for so many participants was like the first time we've ever done anything like that. And it was just amazing to meet everyone in person and to be in such a supportive space. You know, babies could come, diverse bodies were welcome, and everyone was so welcomed and included.
There were tears shed during that workshop, but not because of sadness. Taking part in the Radiant study was truly a transformative experience.
Beck, would you like, if you're available, would you like to come on screen and accept that award?
Thank you so much, Janelle. Wow, this is really exciting. Thank you to you, Janelle, and to AccessCR for making these awards possible and for shining a spotlight on the amazing partnerships that are happening with people with lived experience across Australia. For our project in particular, weight stigma is one of the last socially acceptable forms of discrimination. So for our entire team and community, this award means more than you can possibly know. There are so many people to thank. First of all, to Alia, Radiant's outstanding consumer lead, lived experience leader, as you've already met tonight. I'm so grateful that I met her 4 years ago. It has been an absolute joy to work with her, and it's really hard to overestimate her contribution to this study. To our other 5 lived experience experts, Renee, Tina, Kayla, Laura, and Tanya, you are each amazing advocates, and you have jumped into research without hesitation, answering emails on ridiculous timelines and coming to meetings and flying all over the country with, babies in tow. So thank you for fitting it all in around working and mothering and all of the other balls that each of you juggle. Then, of course, a massive thanks to our amazing multidisciplinary academic team who came together around the consumers to make this study happen. Leonie Calloway, Lauren Carney, Bryony Hill, Jen Hocking, and Jackie Boyle. Most of all, I just thank you guys for trusting me as an early career researcher, as a consumer turned researcher, and Alia to lead this adventure. And then, especially with this award,
last but definitely not least, thank you to every person who took part in the Radiant study, to the larger-bodied women and maternity care providers from across Australia. Thank you for sharing your experiences and your practice, for coming together in the spirit of collaboration and consensus building. Your courage and vulnerability and collective wisdom has created something amazing. The Radiant community, and out of that, the Australian Best Practice Principles for Weight-Inclusive Maternity Care. And of course, we couldn't do any of this without funding. So I would be remiss if I finished without thanking Women's Health Research Translation Network and Health and Wellbeing Queensland for supporting Radiant and making this amazing project possible. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Beck, and really great to have your team doing so well in these awards. I have to tell everybody that every category was judged by a different panel. So it's not that people kept voting for the same people. It really was on the merits of each entry in each category, individually checked by different panels. So it's amazing to see you rise up, and it's a testament to the quality of your work. So congratulations. So I think we are at the final category now. I'd now like to introduce the Outstanding Consumer Advisory Group Impact on Health and Medical Research. You've had the longest wait during these awards to get there. As you know, we had 10 contenders for the People's Choice Award. Again, it was some hot competition there for a while. If we can go to the runners-up. I would like to congratulate the running-up team, which was from the George Institute, the Brain Health Consumer Panel, for their impact on research. And now I'd like to introduce the winner of the People's Choice for Category F. Congratulations to the AIHI Aged Care Consumer Panel. Because they were not one of the finalists presenting yesterday, we are going to show their video now.
The 8 people who make up our Aged Care Consumer Panel have provided invaluable input into the design and delivery of electronic systems to make medicine safer in aged care. The panel has been meeting regularly since September 2023 and has already contributed to an app being used by families in aged care. This app is called BestMed Connect. Here are some insights from our panel members.
My own parents' experience of aged care, and in particular my father, where there were lots of issues around medication management and some of those to his detriment. So when I saw this project come up, I really wanted to be part of it because I think there's a lot that consumers can add to the discussion.
For this particular group, I really wanted to provide my perspective as a younger carer for my family member who was in aged care. I really wanted to provide that perspective also from a culturally and linguistically diverse perspective.
As a panel, it's been great because we've been able to talk about the things that work and don't work, mostly around consumer education. The sorts of things that make sense to people who work in the industry don't necessarily make sense to families. I was able to provide some information around how the app should look and where to get further information about particular items.
Emphasised to me how powerful consumers can be, and you kept us on track, but you allowed us also to have a good conversation and hear each other's views. I think that was the diversity of thinking was really impactful.
I think that best med thing, and to be able to look at your scripts, to see when the things are changing, I think that's unbelievable. That's a really good move.
Great to see a lot of other different consumer representatives as well, and it's great to see that it's not just a tick box sort of activity, but we're actually our voices and perspectives are being heard, done right throughout the process as well, so not just a last minute sort of thing, and we do get enough time to look at agendas and review documents as well, and we're able to ask questions and have our answers as well.
I feel like we've really had an authentic voice in this project, sort of in a 360 view of what's going on. And I think that's super important.
I feel very privileged to be part of it. You're listening to us, we're listening to you.
So congratulations to the AIH team, and I believe Magda, if you'd like to come on and accept the award. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Janelle. This is really exciting. Yeah, I echo all the other winners' thoughts that the entrants and the entries have been so exceptional during this night. It's really encouraging to see all the consumer involvement in the research that we do. As researchers, it's been such a privilege to work with our aged care consumer panel. They have made a really big impact on the work that we are doing, trying to improve care for older Australians in residential aged care. And they've been very generous in sharing their stories, and sometimes those stories are difficult to tell as well. So, yeah, a big thank you to our aged care consumer panel. I think they really deserve this award. Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations. All right, now the very last award to announce tonight. As you know, we had 4 people present as finalists yesterday in the awards, and again, hugely competitive field. I'd like to now announce the runner-up, and can I just say the runner-up made a really great presentation yesterday, and they were only just pipped at the post. So congratulations to the SNAP Trial Consumer Reference Group. For all of the people in the group, it was very close, so congratulations. But we do have to announce the winner now, and I'd like to congratulate the VCCC Alliance Cancer Consumer Advisory Committee, and to welcome online Joe and Keith, if you're available, to accept the award.
Thank you so much, Janelle. Like everybody else, we were bowled over by the incredible work that's been going on in the consumer sector, and to see that yesterday. So thank you to everyone at Consumer Partnerships in research, the team and the sponsors, and the way that you've put it together is fantastic. For the Cancer Consumer Advisory Committee at the VCCC, this is an amazing thing. They'll be so excited, because a lot of us have been there for a very long time and working very hard with our VCCC Alliance members. So, and we're very, very excited about this. I think one of the things for me about watching the awards, both yesterday and today, is not just the inspirational part of it, but just watching the excitement and pleasure that people get out of supporting other people in health and research. So for me, that was a real high about the whole thing, and the amount of work that's been going on. And also personally, I think as a CCAC, we have done some this award and putting the film together, we really did some research ourselves and self-reflection. And I think that's just another part of it that's incredibly exciting. So thank you so much to everyone, and we're really thrilled.
Thank
and
you,
let's
Jo.
keep the conversation going.
100%. Finally, our last slide. It's now time to, I guess, close these fantastic, what has been a fantastic experience. I'd like to thank everyone that has been a part of these awards, whatever your role in them has been. For the entrants that didn't win today, your work is still exceptional, and you should be very proud of your achievements. And I am so happy that we had an opportunity to showcase your work. We do hope to make everybody who wants to have their entrant video put up on our YouTube channel, so everyone can see all the fabulous work that was happening outside of the ones that you got to see during the public vote as well. We would really love to get your feedback. This is the first time we've run it. I don't know if we'll do it again, but your feedback will help us make that decision. And then finally, as Joe's just said, let's keep the momentum going. Over the next month, there are some events coming up. There's always our Facebook group. We have our crew monthly updates. We share opportunities to participate and partner in research and learn about doing that. And of course, we have a national consultation right now around community involvement in research. And so I really encourage everyone to put in a response to that by the 21st of September to make sure we have a really strong statement that sends a message to the community, to the public, to government, to funders, to researchers about the importance of consumer partnership in research. So thank you, everyone. I'm going to leave you now to enjoy the rest of your evening, to celebrate for those that were announced as award winners. And thank you all. And thank you, Jill, for your back-end support today. It's been fantastic.
In the halls where shadows linger, we bring the light the rays can't see. Patience and care is hand in hand, partnering in research for a bright new day. Together we're healing, together we rise, rewriting the future for health and patient lives. With every heartbeat, blending experience and science, our partnership works to bring hope and life to those that come behind. Lab coats mixed with courage stories, clinicians and consumers dream. Science and hope can dance together. In this bond we find our scheme. Underneath the microscope's gaze, within our pain we found research driven by our voices. Together we break new ground. Together we're healing, together we rise, rewriting the future for health and patient lives. With every heartbeat, blending experience and science, our partnership works to bring hope and life to those that come behind. Through the trials and the breakthroughs, behind every tear and smile, we're the heartbeat of this journey, creating something worthwhile. Experience and science guides our journey forth. Through trials and triumphs finding worth, partnering together to make breakthroughs, changing lives through what we learn. Our voices blend a mighty force, changing paths and setting course. Through the tears and through the cheers, partners in improving lives. Together we're healing, together we rise, rewriting the future for health and patient lives. With every heartbeat, blending experience and science, our partnership works to bring hope